What's up guys, this is Merc Music and welcome to some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 multiplayer gameplay news. Now we don't have any actual MW2 2022 multiplayer gameplay quite yet, and even if we did, you would not be allowed to share it yet. But even though there's not any real multiplayer gameplay, there's actually been a lot of multiplayer gameplay news that has been shared. I covered as much of this as I possibly could in my reacting to the official reveal trailer video, but there's been even more information about Modern Warfare 2 2022's multiplayer, so I wanted to make another video so that way I can give you guys all of the information. So yeah, if you guys are excited to learn more about Modern Warfare 2 2022's multiplayer, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And with that being said, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is Gunsmith. It was introduced in Modern Warfare 2019 and it's going to be coming back in Modern Warfare 2 2022, but it's going to have some new features and it's going to be a little bit different. Also, just as a heads up, a lot of this information is coming from Charlieintel, just in case you guys were curious. This post says here, while most Call of Duty fans will be familiar with the Gunsmith system that encourages players to unlock and equip attachments to their weapons, there will be some new create a class features to get used to in Modern Warfare 2. The Gunsmith system is a vital aspect of multiplayer success as it allows for weapons to undergo drastic changes in an instant. He says that Modern Warfare 2 players can expect a broader range of attachment types than ever before. This means that players will have more tools to adjust how the weapons feel in game. This added depth is meant to increase your control over the gameplay experience by shaping the weapon to suit different playstyles. So far, this is sounding similar to Modern Warfare 2019, where you can take a gun and you can transform it into a different type of gun depending on the attachments you put on it. This was actually one of the best features of Modern Warfare 2019 because essentially one gun could become 3 to 5 different types of weapons. It was great for replay value, it was really fun, and it made the guns feel even more unique. So this is sounding pretty good so far. Nothing is officially confirmed yet, but each Modern Warfare 2 weapon is going to arrive with many attachments to unlock. This could be a ton. Again, it's not officially confirmed, but I saw stuff on Twitter of it saying that it could range between like 70 to 100 attachments. But again, the final number is not officially confirmed yet. But if it's anything like the recent Call of Duty games, it could be a lot of attachments, especially if it's like Vanguard. Another very important detail that isn't confirmed is the amount of attachments you'll be able to equip per weapon. There's not an exact number that can be shared quite yet, but it's expected to be lower than Vanguard's total of 10 attachments at one time. Apparently, one of the most drastic changes that's coming to the Gunsmith in Modern Warfare 2 is the ability to tune weapon attachments. You're actually going to be able to adjust the characteristics of the attachments to best suit their needs. As an example, if a standard stock attachment adds movement speed and reduces recoil, you'll be able to adjust the extent to which the movement speed is increased and the recoil control is decreased via the attachment tuning. This feature is only available for weapons that reach a certain weapon level, which means that you're going to have to rank your guns up before you can access the feature. This isn't an opportunity to make weapons overpowered, as boosting one characteristic drastically will result in a corresponding negative. But next up, let's talk about the default loadouts in Modern Warfare 2 2022. As I'm sure we all know, in Call of Duty, when you start off the game for the first time, you usually don't have access to custom classes or create a class, so you have to play with default loadouts, and it looks like Infinity Ward is focusing on 3 main playstyles for people who are starting out in Call of Duty. The 3 main playstyles are Rusher, Sentinel, and Stalker. Each playstyle will have 2 corresponding default loadouts, so there will be a total of 6 default classes. The Rushing loadout is for people who play aggressively, like to play the objective. The Sentinel loadouts are for stationary players who value their life in the game above all else, also known as campers. And the last class is Stalker loadouts, which I'm pretty sure these are people who are going to be playing a little bit more stealthily. So kind of the playstyle of people who like to camp, but they kind of like try to pop out at weird times and stuff like that, or maybe hide in bushes. There's not a ton of info about the Stalker class, but that's my best guess. Next up for Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer is artificial intelligence. That's right, AI is going to be in Modern Warfare 2 and is apparently lethal, fully aware of their surroundings, and they give life to all of the different modes that they are actually in. They can group up, they can flank players, I'm sure they can maybe teabag you. And so far in the undisclosed sandbox mode, they've tested it with 300 AI and 100 live players. This definitely sounds pretty insane, and I really hope that the AI does not become like Battlefield 2042, where it's actually just replacing real players. But if it's done right and they add AI into the multiplayer, it can really actually make the game feel way more alive, like there's a lot more going on. And I think a lot of that is going to boil down to what modes they're actually put in. Now, as far as it goes for movement features in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, there's a lot that's going to be added. Let's start by talking about sliding. It's going to be coming back in Modern Warfare 2, and it's going to feel like Modern Warfare 2019 Vanguard or Cold War. There's no exact confirmation if slide canceling is coming back, so we'll have to wait and see. But for the first time in a COD game, you're going to be able to slide and dive in the game. I'm sure we're all very familiar with dolphin diving, which first made its debut in Black Ops 1. That's actually going to be in this game too. And the dive feature returning in Modern Warfare 2 should pair pretty nicely with the swimming mechanics that are now going to be in the game. Kind of similar to swimming in Black Ops 3's multiplayer, you'll be able to do this in Modern Warfare 2 as well, but there are going to be some restrictions. While you're underwater in Modern Warfare 2, you're not going to be able to ADS or fire your primary weapons. The only thing you can do is shoot your pistols and melee. But if you return to the surface of the water, you will be able to ADS with any weapon. And on top of all of this, there's also going to be a brand new ledge hanging movement. Charlie's having a hard time describing how it actually is because it is kind of a scenario-based thing. But basically the way that ledge hanging will work is if you go up to a ledge, you can peek over it before actually jumping and potentially putting yourself in danger. Just at a first glance, what this makes me think of is kind of like leaning, except you're going to be doing this over ledges instead of walls. It is worth mentioning that leaning and mounting has actually not been officially revealed or confirmed yet for this game, but ledge hanging does sound interesting because if there is leaning or mounting in the game, this sounds like a direct counter to it, so that way people who are rushing around and moving don't have to be penalized by people who might just be sitting back and camping. But yeah, that's it for movement details. Now let's move on to vehicles in Modern Warfare 2. We're gonna see vehicles returning in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. Now, as far as it goes for multiplayer in MW2, I'm pretty sure this is mostly going to be in the larger scale modes. Probably not gonna see vehicles in 6v6. It's probably going to be in the larger kinds of modes. Charlie's saying that the vehicles have been completely redesigned. The way things currently work in Warzone is that when you damage vehicles, you'll see like smoke pouring out of the hood and then eventually they explode. But now vehicles will take real-time damage with doors, hoods, and bumpers flying off, and you can also blow out tires. The vehicles won't just disappear after they've been blown up either. Players can actually repair damaged vehicles, including fixing damaged tires. Infinity Ward is also particularly excited about how water behaves in Modern Warfare 2 and how vehicles react to it. They will no longer just blow up after hitting the water. The vehicles will now float for a short amount of time before they actually sink. So far, the changes to the vehicles sound like they're going to be more interactive and, in a sense, realistic, kind of pushing the vehicles in Call of Duty to be more like Battlefield. There's also a new vehicle coming to both Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 called the Helicopter Troop Carrier. It's basically a flying armored truck. It has 2 pilot seats, but people in the back can freely roam around and shoot out of the chopper, which sounds nuts. But next up, let's talk about multiplayer maps for Modern Warfare 2. There's basically going to be 2 different kinds of maps in Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. We're gonna have battle maps and core maps. I talked about this briefly in the previous video, but battle maps are basically gonna be large scale maps, while the core maps are made just for 6v6. Core maps will take place in locations all over the world, whereas the battle maps will be points of interest from the new Warzone 2 map. This is very similar to how things worked in Modern Warfare 2019. When it came to the ground war maps, we ended up finding out that they were basically just sections of the Warzone map, whereas the regular 6v6 maps were kind of tailored for multiplayer, made to be more unique and eye-catching and also flow better for regular 6v6 multiplayer. But one thing I actually missed originally from the trailer reveal was that High Rise from Modern Warfare 2 was actually shown off for a little bit, which is actually pretty awesome. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that High Rise will be coming back in Modern Warfare 2 2022. One thing we also learned is that Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 are built on a unified engine together. Both games are actually going to share the same engine, the same gameplay mechanics, and they're going to work in tandem a lot better than how we've seen things in the past. And this next tidbit is just my opinion, it's not anything official, but I'm going to assume that Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 are going to stick together, and we probably won't see anything like the Cold War and Vanguard integrations later on. They openly admitted to that being a problem in the past, and I think they're going to learn from that and not make that same mistake. But yeah, let's talk about 2 new multiplayer modes coming into Modern Warfare 2. The first one is called Knockout. It's actually a combination of gunfight and regular core multiplayer. Every player has 1 life with revives and they have to get a package to secure. And the other game mode is called Prisoner's Rescue. This mode basically has the Breach and Siege style of gameplay from Modern Warfare 2. You only have 1 life and you can revive people as well, but there's 2 prisoners that you have to rescue. Kind of makes me think of the hostage mode from CSGO. It hasn't been fully confirmed if this is going to be 6v6 or if it's going to be smaller like 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3, sort of like Gunfight from Modern Warfare 2019, which by the way, Gunfight is going to be in Modern Warfare 2, but it's not going to be at the launch of the game. It's going to be coming post-launch. But next up, let's talk about Theater Mode. It is actually not going to be in Modern Warfare 2 2022. To be honest, I'm actually pretty bummed about this one. Theater Mode is great. It's amazing for cinematics, or if you forgot to record something, or if you want to share clips with other people. It's always been an amazing feature, but at the same time, it wasn't in Modern Warfare 2019. I was still able to do cinematics in that game. But even though MW2 is not going to have Theater Mode this year, they are saying that they want it to be something that's implemented broadly in the franchise in the future. So yeah, hopefully future Call of Duty games will just have Theater Mode every single time. Next up, let's talk about anti-cheat for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. It's still going to be running on Ricochet. I was kind of poking fun at this in my reaction video for Modern Warfare 2. Ricochet anti-cheat will be in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 from day 1 when they both launch. Okay, so basically there will be tons of hackers at launch, and it still holds true. I don't think Ricochet is working quite as well as it should, but Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 are going to launch with it. So I think what we're all hoping for is that Ricochet will be completely working 100% when both games come out. And keep in mind that Modern Warfare 2 2022 and Warzone 2 are not launching at the exact same time. Modern Warfare 2's release date is October 28th this year, and Warzone 2 is going to come out after that. We don't know exactly when, but yeah, just keep that in mind. They're not launching on the exact same day. Next up, let's talk about the platforms that Modern Warfare 2 is actually releasing on. This next COD is going to be available on last gen, current gen, and next gen, meaning you can play the game on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, on Battle.net, and on Steam. And Warzone 2 is expected to release on all of those platforms as well. This is potentially really good news and also also bad news. Let's start with the bad. Obviously, some people are concerned because the game is still going to be releasing on last gen. It's still going to be on PS4 and Xbox One. This is good because there are still a ton of people playing on those platforms, but at the same time, it could mean that they're going to have to limit or restrict things so that way everything will play and work smoothly on those platforms as well. This could potentially be holding Modern Warfare 2 back, but like we've seen in the past, sometimes those games are adapted with different features for Xbox One and PS4. We don't have official confirmation yet, but I would expect that maybe the large sandbox mode or some of the bigger team games, things like that might be restricted for Modern Warfare 2, kind of like what we saw with Battlefield 2042 and the player counts being smaller on last gen. But I think my favorite piece of news from all of this is that Call of Duty is coming back to Steam. We don't have official confirmation about what the sandbox mode is going to be for Modern Warfare 2 yet, but I really do hope that this game gets mod support on Steam. That would be huge. It would add a ton of replay value to the game, just like it did with Black Ops 3. But again, that's not officially confirmed yet. It's just something that I really want. But yeah, let's talk about the open beta for Modern Warfare 2 2022. You will be able to get access to the open beta early if you pre-order Modern Warfare 2 2022, but there's no official dates of when the open beta is going to happen. If you're someone who can't wait to play this game, I would 100% pre-order the game, but if you're someone who's on the fence, just keep in mind that there will be a free open beta at some point for this game. Next up, let's talk about some new equipment that's coming to Modern Warfare 2 2022. We don't have any in-depth information about the equipment, but we do have some names of some things that are coming into the game. Some of the new equipment includes a tactical camera, drill charge, DDoS, inflatable decoy, and EMP device. Now, as far as it goes for post-launch content, there's apparently going to be an incredible post-release calendar set to include a massive amount of free post-launch content drops featuring new maps, modes, and blockbuster special events that can't be missed. Now, as far as it goes for free content coming into newer Call of Duty games, I think it's nice that we don't have to buy DLC or buy season passes like we have before, but I think what a lot of us are hoping for is that the actual quality of the content is going to be good. Like, we actually get some really good maps, not just remakes of old ones. And when it comes to game modes, don't purposely leave them out at launch and then just bring back the same ones we've always gotten. When it comes to maps and game modes, it would be really refreshing to see new stuff. And as far as it goes for the massive amount, hopefully it is going to be very regular. And when it comes to post-launch content, you know, one thing I wanted to see more in Modern Warfare 2019 was more field upgrades being added. Things that could actually change the gameplay in a very meaningful way. We didn't really get that too much, and we also didn't get any kind of confirmation if field upgrades were going to be coming back in the game. They also didn't say anything about specialists, but I think it's pretty safe to say that specialists are not coming back in the multiplayer. If they were, I'm pretty sure we would have gotten some kind of information about it. But guys, that's all of the Modern Warfare 2 2022 multiplayer news that we've got so far, so thank you guys very much for watching. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy this video and you're excited for some actual Modern Warfare 2 2022 multiplayer gameplay, make sure to drop a like. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome, triangle.